Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines, coming to you from the West Coast. Josh Lander, joined as always by my guy holding it down on the East Coast, Nate Weitzer, and we are rolling through this NBA season. Moving on to Friday's slate, Nate, we are going to talk Dallas and Denver. A couple guys potentially missing from those ones that we'll want to check in on. Gives us a great reason to bring up our Rest Advantage tool that is now up on thelines.com underneath that odds tab right there on the homepage. So make sure you check that out and stay on top of who is hurt, who's playing for these NBA games as we move on. That's a huge tool for us in this sport, especially obviously as players continue to be scratched very, very late to keep that sort of advantage and secret from their opponent. So we'll stay on top of that with that tool. And as always, Nate does have a great playpicks.com article up for you with some best bets today, some power rankings that he's got as well up on our sites. So make sure you check all that stuff out. And as always, if you still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area. Nate, let's jump into Friday night's NBA slate.
Yeah, so the Nuggets opened as -1, and I ran to go bet that. Then seeing that Jokic is legitimately questionable after knocking knees on Tuesday, but to your point, they have a huge rest advantage here. They haven't played since Tuesday. Dallas played last night. So there is something to be said for each side here, and we can expect Kristaps Porzingis to sit. I've seen the line now fluctuate -2.5, now -2 for the Nuggets, the total dropping a little bit to 218. And just quickly before we dive into this, the other games tonight, we have Magic +8 at Raptors, Pacers +9 at Nets, the Hornets +6.5 at Heat, Kings -2.5 at Pelicans, Clippers +3 at Blazers, and the Cavs are +7 at the head-scratching Lakers. So looking at the Jokic-less Nuggets, we don't really have any sample to look at in terms – he played basically every game last year. But I think this is a prime example of stars out, bets up that we like to talk about. Denver is a really, really good team all around. They have a very good coach in Mike Malone. I think they can still beat a Dallas team that really hasn't showed us anything, even since the end of last year, starting to kind of come apart at the seams. They've now failed to cover in 5 of their last 6. Their offense has been abysmal, sending 7 of their last games under the total. At 220, I loved betting that under. If it continues to drop below 218, I'm not as sure. But these teams are 24th and 25th in points per game. Dallas is dead last in points per game in the paint, and that's not going to get any better with Porzingis, like we said, probably out with the back injury. Denver is getting the fewest free throw attempts per game, and Dallas hardly allowing any. And then Denver's bread and butter is getting buckets at the rim, number 1 in 2-point percentage, while Dallas is number 1 in 2-point defense. So my lean would be under if you're betting this, without knowledge of Jokic's status. But I have no problem taking the value with Denver at home with this huge rest advantage. Still have Aaron Gordon, Will Barton, and plenty of talent out there to deal with Luka and a struggling Mavericks team. Yeah,
100%. My starting point with this game is definitely the under. Stars out, bets up for sure, but I think I'm going to bet the under, right, in this one with those stars out, and just what we're seeing right now this year from both squads. Obviously, Dallas is the team that gives me the confidence to bet on Denver without Jokic, to be honest with you. And Kristaps Porzingis is also questionable for tonight, not likely to play, and that doesn't really make me feel better about picking Denver, right? But it's just a sort of a sign of how even if he was playing, I'd still feel comfortable picking Denver because a lack of a low post presence isn't really where on Denver's side doesn't really give an advantage to Kristaps, who doesn't go down there anymore. He doesn't protect the rim already, right? And he's definitely not bringing it in the post on offense either, which is really concerning for them. So, who's going to step up for Denver tonight? I think obviously, whenever it comes down to some hero ball, Will Barton is a guy I love to bet on. I remember going to a Warriors game with him, with the Nuggets visiting, taking Willie B without a number of guards, including Jamal Murray playing, which obviously he won't be there tonight. So continue to like him. I think, he will he benefits from Joker on the floor. Those pick and roll, they have a nice 2-man game together. Will Barton shooting about 42% from 3 this year as a result, pulling up off of those big screens from Joker. So we'll see, what that looks like for them tonight with, different guys in the lineup. Maybe we see some more Bones Highlands. Just wanted to get him out there, a rookie who led them in scoring actually in the preseason. But there's no props right now really available as we don't really know who's playing. So definitely going to eye that under. Going to take Denver as well at home. Surprisingly, they were only 30. They were about 500 at home last year against the spread as home favorites, which was not great. But, look, once again, this is about what Dallas is not.
26-10 straight up, Josh.
Straight up.
This is a 1 point
they win
spread.
at home.
Yeah.
Very good point. And this is only a roughly 2-point spread. Feel free to take that Denver money line as well if you don't like those 2 points. But I mean, it's only a slightly worse odds. Honestly, you can still get that the Mavs to win by 2 at about even money. So it's still pretty much worth it in my opinion. Or excuse me, the Nuggies there. So look, this is a game that is unfortunately not going to be as sexy as we might want it to be without Joker playing. But I think you find a lot of value in that under. And if you do feel confident about Denver at home, like you probably should, then it's a nice little potential parlay or tease there.
Yeah, and we don't know if Joker's going to sit or not. I mean, it's just a little knee bruise. He didn't avoid any major damage. If he sat, it'd be for precautionary reasons, but he's been an Iron Man lately, and I think, he's not a guy that needs to explode off his knee much. I think maybe he goes out there and just does his thing from the high post and gets their offense rolling. We failed to mention Michael Porter Jr. in that segment too. I mean, that would be the starting point, I think, for props. I think for his trays, the Mavs have the 5th worst 3-point percentage allowed thus far, middle of the pack in defensive rating. Again, we have a new head coach in Jason Kidd who has so far kind of lucked into good defensive results, mainly benefiting from the schedule, from a tired Spurs team, from a young Rockets team. But they just do not look like a disciplined defensive team. So I think, you'll see Will Barton, you'll see MPJ, and I would attack those props if Jokic is out.
Yeah.
And either way, I like the Nuggets. I mean, you saw the Inside the NBA guys on TNT just say the Nuggets and the Jazz right now today, best teams in the NBA. I find it hard to disagree with that. I mean, the Heat are doing their thing in the East, but in the West to start the season – and it's not about star power, guys. I mean, no stars are really taking over in the West.
Right.
It's just about all around coaching, team chemistry, execution on both sides. These teams are locked in, and it's not just about Jokic. They have lots of depth on this team and a very good coach in Mike Malone.
And that's what it's going to be right now, to your point, until it seems like some stars come back and get healthy, or some stars like James Harden in Brooklyn figure it out. But either way, I think we can feel good to your point about Denver as a team that's been together for a while, and they'll definitely get an advantage. I think they'll start to take off a little bit more, considering how long they've been together at this point in their core, right? And how much they gel with Mike Malone as their coach. So this early on, this is a nice value bet for Denver, and definitely that under tonight, as we mentioned. So make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. That is all the time that we have for today. We'll continue to roll on. Got a couple other videos, one more game out there. We'll be talking about Pellies and Kings, as well as some player props for you on this Friday NBA slate. So check those out. And until we see you guys again, happy betting.